Before we move on, I would just like to take this time to extend our sympathy and prayers to a young man that lost his life tragically over the weekend. Again, our heart and our prayers go out to Levi's family and to our friends at St. Joe's. I believe we have no public to be heard at this time. So it would be me with the good news. From the high school, from Principal Jennifer West, BHS students attended the Glow with Your Hands event. Mr. Voorhees and Mr. Warren took their class to this local event. Many students enjoyed learning about the many types of agricultural, technical, and manufacturing jobs that our community has to offer. It was a great day filled with lots of hands-on learning. From the middle school, Principal Nate Corzelius, September is International Dot Day. This year there are over 28 million participants in more than 200 countries. It has become a truly global event celebrating creativity, courage, and collaboration. Our librarian, Mrs. McBride, kicked off the event by reading Be You by Peter Reynolds. Thank you to Carrie McBride for all your hard work coordinating this event. From John Kennedy, Principal Paul Kessler, special thanks to Mrs. Notaro, Mrs. Torrey, and the staff at Jackson. Our new second graders came in ready to learn and prepared to meet new challenges. From Robert Morris and Jackson, we've got Deborah Torville. Thank you to Kristen Fix for thinking about me the other day. I appreciated the coffee and bagel. That was a very thoughtful act of kindness. And from the district office, Julia Rogers, shout out to JK custodians Frank Mediasi and Nick Klippel. They're always willing to help out and go above and beyond without anyone asking them to do. Thanks, Frank and Nick. And there's plenty more good news, so please, if you have the opportunity, get on our Facebook page and our website and take a look at that. Next up, we have some presentations to go through.
So I'm going to introduce the first presentation in honor of Board Appreciation Week. I normally the board president would do this, but this is the month that we celebrate Board Appreciation Week. On behalf of the entire district and our families and staff, I want to recognize the board members. Their outstanding service and dedication to our school district. I can't think of a better way to have you thanked than from our students. So we'll start with our friends of Jackson and Robert Morris, Mrs. Notaro, Mrs. Torrey, and then we're going to work our way up all the way through high school. So go ahead, Maureen. Thank you.
Look, this is our side. These are our actual Jackson kids in the thank you, in the letters for thank you. We actually had them laid out. We took pictures of them. So we've also created a video to thank you. So I don't know, Jessica, you guys want to tell them your name? Yeah. Carter. This is yeah. All you have to do is hold this place a bit so they can see it. All right. You can sing along.
Thank you for being a friend. Confidant. I'm not ashamed to say. I always say this way. My hat is off, don't you stand up and take a bow. If you threw the party and invited everyone you knew, you will see that they can kiss with me and the card that top will say, thank you for being best friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll leave this with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kessler, you're up.
Yeah, so I wanted to introduce you to, we have two of our fourth grade mentors and our counselors that work with the mentor program. So welcome to Ms. McCarthy, Mr. Knapp, Ms. Stentz, and Ms. Nanny. They all help work with the program, and so students apply to be fourth grade mentors. We have two of them here with us. We have Petra and Luke. So they're going to kind of come stand in front of me, all right, and they're going to take over.
We, the little puzzle pieces of learning adventure, want to take a moment to express our mega-sized gratitude to each one of you. You are like the magical pieces that make our school world complete.
We may be small, but we know that your hard work and dedication are ideal. So thank you for being a crucial part of our puzzle, guiding us, supporting us, and making sure our school days are full of discoveries.
You make our education journey colorful and fun, just like a perfect puzzle should be. We are so lucky to have you shaping our story and helping us grow. Thanks for being the awesome puzzle masters behind our education.
We are becoming smarties and the style, the limit, and the healthy way of a school system. We are working hard to reach graduation, which will be our payday. We are gifting you a frame. Thank you for part to remind you how grateful we are.
They are hoping that the puzzle picture can hang somewhere here.
No doubt, we will, yes. Yes, we'll hang it up here. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I brought two students here from the middle school to express our appreciation to you and thank you for all the time and effort you put in. And I brought them to come and talk a little bit about the things that they participate in and they're really appreciative of as being part of the team.
My name is Maddie. I play sports and I do a lot in the music program. I do chorus, band, and I used to do orchestra. I want to submit for the program because I don't know what I would do without the music program. It's a really good program. Most schools don't even have a music program, and the sport program is amazing. I have an interest to play soccer, and I have so much fun. I'm very excited.
Hi, my name is Jonah. I like the sports program that we have at Batavia Middle School. I like playing baseball and basketball at Batavia. And I would like to thank you for having those and having the training outside of the sports season.
So thank you very much. We brought a little Batavia Middle School swag for you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
So, good evening, Board of Education. It is my honor to extend our thanks and gratitude to Batavia High School for all that you do for our school district, building, and community overall. Being new to Batavia, I am continually surprised and delighted at the incredible supports that are in place for our young scholars in the high school. So at the high school, our students have a wide variety of choices when it comes to choosing academic courses, which include honors, APs, college levels, and advanced courses. Additionally, we have lots of things like trade and career opportunities through BOCES and other community partnerships, such as Upward Bound and Liberty Partners. We have a thriving music and athletics program and also offer multiple types of clubs and activities outside of the school day. It is the hard work of the Board of Education that allows for all of these programs to happen. And so our students did put together a video, and I'm also going to have Peyton, I know he's with you guys all the time, but I will have him say a few things that he's also thankful for in terms of how you guys support us at Batavia High School. And that will show the video.
So, first off, just for me personally, I'd like to thank all of you. You've all been so incredibly kind in my first few days with the Board of Education. Other than that, I'm a part of a lot of things that Mrs. West read off. I'm a part of the AP programs. I'm a part of the dual credit enrollment classes. I'm a part of the music programs. And I just want to thank you all for having those privileges here, because I know a lot of smaller schools, like I have friends who go to like Pavilion, who don't have the things we have here. And I'm just so thankful that I get to be a part of Batavia and get to experience all of these amazing things. So thank you so much.
And thank you. So we'll just show you a short video that also shares some of the other things that our students at Batavia High School are thankful to the Board of Education.
Thank you. All the time you give to the students here at Batavia High.
Thank you, Board of Education, because of you I get to do activities. Board of Education, because of you I get to play sport.
Thank you, Board of Education, for all you do to keep our students safe.
Thank you, Board of Ed, because of you I get to be happy at every day of school.
Thank you, Board of Education, because of you I get to have fun at school.
Thank you, Board of Education, for supporting music here in Batavia.
Thank you, Board of Education, because of you I get to participate in extracurricular activities.
Thank you, Board of Education, because of you I get to be a part of the Bluesville.
I wanted to say thank you to our Board of Education. Because of your support, we have the tools and resources to keep BCSD safe.
Thank you, Board of Education, because of you I get to take fun classes.
Thank you, Board of Education, so I get to teach money management and entrepreneurship and all classes that really mean a lot to our Batavia students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Board of Education, because of you we get to reach our goals.
Thank you, Board of Education. Because of you, our kids stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Board of Education, because of you I get to do outdoor track.
It's a high-pressure job.
Thank you, Board of Education. Because of you, I'm able to participate in very elaborate musicals that I never thought I'd get to do at a high school level.
Thank you, Board of Education, for giving me free school supplies.
Thank you, Board of Education, for giving me the opportunity to work with amazing Batavia High School students and create wonderful works of writing.
Thank you, Board of Education. Thank you, Board of Education. Thank you, Board of Education.
Thank you, Board of Education.
Thank you, Board of Education.
Education. Thank you, Board of Education.
So as you can see, our students and our staff are very, very thankful for all you make possible for us. And as a new person to Batavia, I say it to every person I see, the amount of offerings that our students have here are incredible and truly offer them lots and lots of choices to become young scholars and pursue their dreams post-secondary. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And then okay, and so at this time, Peyton and I have some certificates to present to you. You can read this name if you want. I'll read them from now on. You can read that because you have it. Thank you. Okay, and John Riegel. And Alice and Benedict.
Thank you.
Jennifer Lendy. I hope I said that right. Lendy. Barb Bowman.
Thank you.
Desiree Roll. And I would also like to present one to you, Mr. Roller. Congratulations. Thank you, Board of Education, for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up for presentations, we have Batavia High School Senior Trip Proposal from Ms. Kelly Garner and students.
Okay. Okay. Jason, do you want him to do for Mr. Hawley proclamations?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's introduce pause for a second. Sure.
I should have asked you to go first because the kids are a tough act to follow. They did a great job. It's an honor to represent someone like Steve Hawley this evening. He sends his regrets. He had another commitment. I know you'd rather see him here. The good news is my remarks will be a little shorter. I do have a proclamation for you from the state of New York. Whereas the state of New York recognizes and takes pride in educational excellence in our public schools and the impact it has on our students, and whereas one such school is Batavia High School, which has been named one of the 2023 best high schools in America, as determined by U.S. News and World Report, the school earned high national and metro area rankings for its excellence in education. And whereas Batavia High School achieved this honor by ranking in the top 40% of nearly 18,000 high schools across the nation, Batavia High School displayed excellence in several areas, including high rates of proficiency in math, reading, and science. Batavia High School also has leading numbers in college readiness and state assessment proficiency. One of Batavia High School's most notable statistics was its 98% graduation rate, a ranking which is well above the state median. And whereas Batavia High School is celebrating being named one of the best high schools in America by U.S. News and World Report, now therefore be it resolved that Assemblyman Hawley, in conjunction with the citizens of the 139th Assembly District, offer congratulations to Batavia High School, and it's signed by Steve Hawley.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Am I good to go? All right. Well, that's good timing to keep talking about Batavia High School. I'm Kelly Garner. I am a counselor at the high school, but I am also the senior class advisor along with Tom Inglesby. So we have some of our seniors here to present our senior class trip for this year. So the trip is going to take place in mid-June. We do have it set for a weekend in June. And this year we are hoping to go to Toronto and Niagara Falls. So it's a new spot for us. We're really excited. So I have a few students here that are going to take you through the presentation about what we're planning to do. I think you guys know Peyton already. He's just going to stay up here all night. So Peyton Wohler is our Board of Education rep. Isabella Walsh is our vice president this year, and Julia Clark is our treasurer. All of our other officers are off playing sports or involved in other activities tonight, so these three were kind enough to come out. Peyton was our class president for 3 years prior to this, so he's he knows the deal with the senior class. So I'm going to turn it over to them. I can flip through for you guys to tell you about our trip. All right.
So I'm Isabella. So we're obviously going, as you just said, to Toronto, Niagara Falls. So I'm gonna go through the days. So the first day we want to do shopping at Eaton Center. So lunch is kind of on your own, but you kids can just kind of go wherever, shop, look at different things there. Then we're gonna go to the CN Tower. We're actually gonna go all the way up and kind of look at all the views and everything. And then we're gonna go to the Palladium at its arcade and bowling. Kids can get like a free card, go through, bowl, play games. The second day we're going to go to Canada's Wonderland, which is just an amusement park, so that'll be really fun. And then Medieval Times, which is a super cool like restaurant, but it's not a restaurant. They like joust in front of you while you eat, and you kind of sit in like a big thing and just kind of watch it. So that's a pretty different and fun thing to do. And then the third day, Toronto Zoo, and then on our way back, we're gonna hit Clifton Hill and then eat at Hard Rock Cafe. And yeah, those are the days.
Okay, so I'm Julia, and I'll be talking about the costs. So the final cost is dependent on the number of students traveling and the amount of money we've raised. So we estimated that it'll be around $550 at max. So you can also lower this by doing individual fundraising, like our biggest fundraiser is Alex's Place fundraiser, and the money you raise from that goes into your individual account. And that's going to be, we did that this year, we're going to do that this year, and we did that last year. So that's going to be a big help. So to cross the border, students will not need to acquire passports. They will just need parental consent and a birth certificate. But the school already has these on file, so it'll be very easy to cross the border into Canada.
So, as for fundraising to lower the cost, our freshman year, it was COVID, but we did manage to do Alex's Place, which was relatively successful. And then sophomore year and junior year, we did Cutter's Cheese, Alex's Place, and Chipotle. And then this year, we're planning on, well, we've already done the painted parking spots, which went amazingly. We plan to kick off our popcorn sale between October 20th and 24th, because class of 2024. And then we also get proceeds from the fall ball and snowball since we are the senior class. And then we also are planning on doing the Alex's Place fundraiser in February, which again is going to go into individual accounts for students. And then we also plan on doing Chipotle again in March.
Anybody have any questions for us about the trip?
Did you indicate the dates yet?
I didn't put, I just realized they're not on that front slide, but it is June 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So that'll make it so that no students are missing exams and it works around the sports schedule.
So are you making the assumption that the seniors that want to go will do a total fundraising and get enough money for each of them? And if not, what if they've done partial fundraising and they need subsequent monies and they can't afford it?
So there's a couple things we do. So we've promoted the individual fundraisers last year and this year. So we'll do that again. We had a student raise $225 towards her individual account last year. If students get to the point that they haven't done that yet, we are doing an installment plan. So we'll ask students for the first payment in the coming months. As soon as we can get approved, then we can ask for the first payment so that we break it down into smaller increments. That individual fundraiser is coming later on in the year so that they can use that. If they fundraise part of it, then we still put that towards their total cost. We also are really hoping to get the cost down. I do not anticipate that it'll be $550. That is a maximum. For every fundraiser that we do, this popcorn sale, everything that we're doing will bring the cost down more and more. Chaperones. They're included as part of the trip. So Mr. Inglesby and myself will be there. So let me just see, I have the full itinerary we didn't put up, but for adults, we do need passports. But it will be a chaperone for every, I believe it's every 10 students. So depending on how many we get, if there's 30 students, which would fill a bus, we'll have 3 chaperones. So we usually solicit them pretty early on in the year to see who's interested, and we'll try to get the junior class advisors to come so that they can see how it works, so that they can plan theirs for next year. They're usually our first pick.
How many students from the senior class have expressed interest in wanting to go?
So we did a survey earlier this year, and they actually chose the Toronto trip of 3 that we had up. We had Philadelphia, Cedar Point in Ohio, and Toronto. And Toronto overwhelmingly won. And I believe we had 100 students fill out the survey out of our 181 in the senior class. So in past, that doesn't necessarily mean that many will go. In past years, you know, the last time Mr. Inglesby and I took a class, well, we had the class of 2020 who didn't ultimately go. But we had, I believe, 60 students signed up to go on that trip. So we find that if we do it early enough in the year like this, and we can kind of get out in front of it, we can get a good number of kids. So I'm hopeful that we'll get, 50 to 60 students. That's my hope.
Any other questions? We can put this up for a vote. Could I have a motion?
So
Ms. Ledbetter, may I have a second? Mr. Roll.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Have fun.
There you go. Have a
Thank
good
you
time.
so much.
Keep us posted.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will.
Nice job, thank you.
All right. Next up, staff development and operation update from Mrs. Tricia Finnegan, Executive Director.
Yeah, so good evening, and I would like to extend my gratitude to the board as well for everything you do to support everything that we do in the district, so thank you very much. Okay, remember how to use this? Or I should have the director of technology perhaps come up and assist me since I can't get this done.
It's like click on the slide, just like in the middle of the screen.
There you go. Middle one? The right one, okay. Good evening. So to go. So our key focuses every year, these are the key focuses that I touch upon: personnel, labor relations, staff development, operations, and a new one this year is educational technology. Of course, we want to relate these to our strategic plan goals. Oh, okay, now we're ahead to mine. So our key focuses relate to goals 1, 2, and 3, safe and orderly school environment, collaborative culture, and a clear and accessible curriculum. One of the key focuses has been on recruitment. We are continuing to recruit qualified teaching staff as well as teacher aides. We are also currently looking for food service helpers. What we have found over time is that we've needed to expand our platforms for advertising. So we continue to use Indeed. This year we contracted with Sadie's, which is an administrative group, to put our administrative postings out to a bigger group of potential applicants. We've also started, and Emily has been very helpful with this, really opening things up where people can just call me or email me. So I am available to take anybody's interest. I immediately will set up some sort of virtual meeting. I've been doing screening processes to assist with hiring at the buildings. So we've been screening applicants, for example, and then I move them on to the next stage, which is to meet with the principal. So that's a different process than just having a pool of applicants, screening them, going through them, and waiting for an interview. Research shows that if you respond to an applicant within 24 hours, typically you're going to get a quicker, they're going to respond and be more interested. They expect that immediacy. So that has been very helpful. Last year, I know we talked about needing a school psychologist. I'm excited to report we found an exceptional candidate. So we did fill that position. We are still actively recruiting for special education teachers, but I want to take this opportunity for a shout out for our retired special education teachers who have come back again and helped us at multiple buildings with filling vacancies that we couldn't fill. So thank you to retired special education teachers. In terms of hiring, we really are proud of the Blue Devil family concept and that we live that. And so we really promote the notion of you're joining a family, not just an organization, not just a district. And we do that, I skipped, I'm sorry, let me go back to this. Yep, talked about recruitment and hiring. So we're talking about joining our family. So as part of that, I'm just gonna go right to this because this is a nice picture. We cultivate that whole family feel. We want people to feel that the Blue Devils family is real. I do check-in meetings with staff to see if they're feeling part of a family as well as other questions. But in terms of hiring, it's important for you to know too, as a follow-up to last year's report from Dr. Ramming, that the leadership team has worked closely together, especially Molly, it was Scott, Jason, and I working with the principals to go over some of the recommendations from that report and implement them. So for example, we had set scheduled meetings. We started early in the spring, winter actually, where we got together and talked about class sizes. We talked about retirements and what potentials could be to possibly not fill positions. We talked about targeting the use of our teacher aides to better support instruction. So it's important to know that we did and continue to review Dr. Ramming's report and that we're using those recommendations as we move forward every spring in planning for the next school year. I love this picture. I think that when we decided to have our new employee orientation at Holland Land Office Museum and have the bus tour afterwards was fantastic. The feedback was great. I think people that lived in Batavia and may have thought, I know everything there is to know about Batavia, took that bus tour and learned something. Thank you, Jason. and Anne-Marie Starowitz also. So that was just kind of cool that we did that. We're going to keep doing that every year too. So once we recruit people, once we hire people, we want to retain them. And so we continue to celebrate staff successes. So for example, we continue to celebrate people that have earned their tenure, staff members that have earned their tenure. This goes out to the whole district. I like to meet with the employee, take their picture, we send that out, and recently this year we started adding a little bit more personal information to let people know, again, this is what this person's about. They have tenure, they're staying here, they're excited. Celebrating retirement, I have up what we did for Jane when she left and talking about her passion for music and really recognizing that. So taking a few special moments, it's one email, I get a lot of positive feedback about people saying thank you for doing this. I had someone who got her tenure who put it on Twitter saying this is what I've been working for, and she was so excited. And so it's nice to see that we're reinforcing that and we want people to know how excited we are that they're here and that we want them to stay. Labor relations. This year, we are working closely with the Batavia Administrators Association as well as the Custodial Association to negotiate contracts. So we are looking forward, we're in the process of that with the administrators and looking forward to working with the custodians. And we continue to work with all teams, all associations and teams on contractual language, clarifying language that may not be clear, and working together to make sure that we're being true to the contracts that we have agreed upon. Staff development. This year, Molly, Jason, and I spent a lot of time on new teacher orientation and new employee orientation, really trying to tweak it, making sure that it captures what we want people to know. And so we're going to continue to do that every year so that we know that we're presenting our new employees with what they need to get right in and get going. We also continue to, my office coordinates the mandated trainings that staff have to complete every year so that the district's compliant with New York State regulations. We're also looking at our policies and reviewing them as an administrative team to make sure that we're being compliant with the policies regarding other topics as well. Brian and I have been working closely together to increase and enhance our staff development related to technology. I will not steal his thunder on that because that is coming, so get ready. In terms of operations, this is, again, it's a lot of day-to-day things. So, for example, we continue to coordinate the COVID issues, shall we say, and absences out of my office. COVID is still around, so it's something that needs to be monitored, and we still need to track it in terms of letting people know if their time is covered. Buildings and grounds, I work closely with Chad, Andy. We have weekly meetings. I meet with Chad also, just day-to-day things. Last week was a domestic water heater. Another week it's something else. But I'm typically involved in those two in terms of facilitating things that need to happen and doing whatever I can do to keep those things going. We're also right now, like an operational thing that we're working on is Raptor is our system when people come to visit, they swipe their driver's license and that lets them in or not. We'll keep it as simple as that. We're looking to extend our Raptor system to help us if we should have a crisis situation where we need to monitor staff and students that are present or not present. So that's an ongoing thing. Educational technology. Again, I'm not going to steal Brian Sutton's thunder, but this has been obviously a project, and it was driven very much by the recommendations from the audit. And Brian and I have been working very closely since he was appointed to prioritize the roadmap and to make sure that we are hitting on every single topic. Again, you will see the significant progress that Brian has made in his presentation, and we look forward to continuing to move forward with what the district needs to be secure and move forward instructionally in that area. Questions? All right, then. Thank you.
All right, next up, educational technology update. Mr. Brian Sutton.
All right, good evening. Thank you very much. It's last year I was here with the students and the kids, and thank you all this month for your work on the board. Now you get just me. However, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate the support that you give this district, and I'm seeing it through a whole new lens now. So each one of you brings something very special to our district, so thank you for your efforts. And on the topic of thank you, Tricia has been a wonderful asset to me in this role. So while she breezed through her slide, she has helped a tremendous amount in the progress that we've made so far. So thank you, Tricia, as well for your support. The key findings and recommendations, this is just a sort of a reminder for all of you on what we found or what was discovered in the audit that basically created the roadmap that we are following. The following are aligned with strategic plan Goal 1, safe and orderly school environment, and Goal 2, collaborative culture. The components include personnel and staffing, so reviewing existing structure and services through BOCES, enforcing existing board policies on inventory control, which is our process of inventory, ensuring that we know where everything is and is accounted for, as well as appropriately tagging all the items so that we can easily identify what it is and where it should be. Data privacy and Ed Law 2D compliance, ensuring all requirements are being met. Ed Law 2D is just the protection of personal identifiable information for students, which is a major priority of the department and the district and the state. The infrastructure or connectivity, reassessing and reevaluating our connectivity in the district, diagnosing the issues that were discovered through the audit and the areas in each building where the internet service was not the best or dead zones. Chromebooks and printing was another topic, evaluating the device needs of each school and really responding to the frustrations shared in the audit from students and staff members regarding printing.
I just want to clarify one thing in mind. So, we actually had 2 audits done. So we had the audit, we had the comptroller's audit done about 2 years ago, which is the audit. And then what Brian is also referring to is we had it was called an audit as well. It was also called the functional technology review. those were the consultants that we hired in response to the comptroller's audit. So, what Brian's done, he's doing a fine job. He's overseeing both the audit and the second review, and this is the whole report. So
Yeah, sorry, apologize for that. So the functional review. Another component of that was the website, updating our website to be in compliance with EdLaw 2D and Family Educational Privacy Rights, and staff development and training. So improving teacher and staff training and providing training videos was a recommendation from the functional review, and then also having coaches at each school to assist with infusing technology. We are in the very beginning stages, so those are the things I'm going to hit on, is what we've already addressed in that roadmap that came from the functional review. And then we are in the beginning stages of aiming at strategic plan goal 3, clear and accessible curriculum, and goal 4, effective teaching. So basically what I'm going to take you through is what we've accomplished since my first day on July 1st. We have really tried to push for that cohesion of the technology department, that family feel that Tricia alluded to. One of the ways that we did that was we updated the aid titles. They were computer aids, which is really just fits when you have computer labs and they're in there supporting, but we have changed their titles to educational technology support aids, which is much more fitting based on the large degree of work that the aides and support staff do. We have the following shared staff from EduTech. So EduTech is the Genesee Valley Finger Lakes Educational Technology Service, which is a part of our RIC area, which is our Regional Information Center. So we have shared staff coming in that supports our Batavia staff as well. So we have a network engineer, we have 2 support technicians, and a network technician as well. Currently, Tricia and I are really monitoring the advantages and disadvantages of this collaboration. However, immediately, one of the advantages is it saves the district minimally $85,000 in salaries using this approach. And we have really worked through what each role looks like, and that staff is doing a wonderful job as well on the days they're here. Existing board policies that we need to enforce. So we're working with EduTech to ensure tags are provided on all products. We do have some that we came across that don't have an EduTech tag on them, and so we have responded to that by getting one, making sure it's correct in their system, and then in our system as well. We restructured our inventory system and process to ensure accountability. The inventory system that I inherited was all-encompassing, certainly, but not very well broken down. So it really took a lot of time breaking down the inventory system so that everything could be easily findable and easily navigated as well. This includes all of our district-owned devices. We do purchase many things through EduTech. However, we do have district-owned devices as well, and that is accountable as well per Board Policy 5620. We implemented a software program to track our software inventory and all the things we purchased and their expirations. We use this through a program called District Data Privacy Inventory, or the DPIT. And then we, on a physical end, rearranged the entire space that the Educational Technology Department is in. It's an ongoing process. We have a classroom at Robert Morris for storage. Then we have our department area as well, and they're getting tidied up. So, which is only helpful in the inventory and realizing what we have on hand. For the technology leadership part of the review, again, using the functional review completed last year as a roadmap to prioritize and address issues that were uncovered. I meet weekly with the Educational Technology Department. This includes those at the middle school and the high school. So they come back, they've been kind of at their schools for the last couple of years, so getting them to touch base in person once a week with the rest of the department has been very, very wonderful, and honestly, we've addressed issues much quicker because of that interaction. We provided guidance and support to the creation of the digital fluency class at the middle school. Mr. Bastine did a lot of work with that as well, which is huge for the computer science and digital fluency standards that we need to roll out, and I'll get to that, but we're in the process of early stages of that. But getting that class started was a great starting point for our 5th and 8th graders. And then I reestablished the District Technology Committee, And our first focus is on staff development and learning. I also send out a monthly newsletter that I have coined BCSD Bits and Bytes, B-Y-T-E-S. Thought that was clever. That it just has information on all of the things that we are focused on. So it has information on cybersecurity, it has information on a bunch of how-tos. Staff over the summer went to John Sowash Google training, and so they gave me information that they received that I then share out with all the staff, which is wonderful. It's one of the things that I really took from John Kennedy, where I focused on staff training one another, and I'm applying it district-wide, where I'm able to collect what staff are learning and then share it back out through that newsletter. In terms of data privacy and EdLaw 2D compliance, scheduled ongoing meetings with representatives from EduTech to discuss state compliance, EdLaw 2D, and Part 121 compliance, with which is just a part of EdLaw 2D. Tricia and I have updated the staff acceptable use policy for all of their computer devices and logins. I updated the disaster recovery playbook and the incident response plan for your review as well. And I also created an agreement or contract to send to vendors that if they are not EdLaw 2D compliant, they can sign our contract or agreement with us, and then we enter a contract with them that we have created that protects all of our students' personal identifiable information. We also use the Brightly work order system, and I expanded that to submit requests for anything that teachers want to use. So it not only is requests for like a computer breaks or a keyboard is broken or something isn't working, but we also included this for requests for what teachers are looking to use from a curriculum end. And then when I receive those, I work with Molly and we determine if we want to move forward with it. And if so, then I take the steps to ensure that we're EdLaw 2D compliant. Infrastructure, connectivity. So we had conducted a wireless survey to show a map of the connectivity in the buildings. Really neat, actually. It brings a layout of the building, and then it's different colors based on the signal strength. So we had really great connectivity throughout the district. We did identify a couple classrooms that were dead zones, and we're addressing those by adding wireless access points into those rooms so that there isn't that disruption to students and staff when they're on their devices. Last week, we also upgraded our wireless output from 1 gig to 2 with Spectrum, so that will only increase the speed at which we are operating here. And it's also very important when it comes to computer-based testing time, as we're going to have many, many students on the device all at the same time. And I'm working with Mr. Corzelis at the middle school to already start to plan what that rollout will look like and how that will go. We had our firewall, our approach to what firewall we use changed as well. Essentially, in Batavia in the past, there was a firewall, then a Batavia one, and then an EduTech one. And so what we did was I met with EduTech, met with their network engineers, and asked, like, is this necessary? And essentially, it wasn't. So what we did is we removed one of those, which is accounted for in the other one, so we don't have a double of the same. And if you think about it, when you're retrieving information, it is hitting one wall, then 2 walls, then 3 walls, then you get it. And that was a lot of what was slow. I got an email early in the year, and it said, "Hi Brian, I just wanted to let you know that the Wi-Fi in the STEAM lab has been working great this year. 4th graders are on Google Classroom in record time, and we aren't having the problems we did in previous years. Yay." And yay is right, because I experienced it at middle school and at John Kennedy, the frustrations of staff and students when it's just not working. Chromebooks and printing. I worked with grade level leaders and department chairs to organize their ClassLink pages, so when students open up their Chromebooks, the ClassLink page pops up. And the way it was set up before was everybody got everything. And the fact of the matter is, seniors in high school aren't really interested in ABC Yeah reading, which is like a little cartoon. Okay, so I met with each grade level leader, and we filled out what they wanted and needed for each grade, and then then I went in and met with ClassLink and learned how to operate the program so that every grade level has exactly what they need. And I also created a process if things want to get added to the ClassLink page, that they go through the grade level leaders and me and Molly to determine that it is something that should be added, so that staff aren't just adding things to it and cluttering the page, and we're really focused on what's needed from the curriculum. We're working to install a program called PaperCut on our printers. What this allows for is centralized printing. Staff can release print jobs on any printer, any device securely, and it'll also allow for students to securely print as well. This will be a huge cost savings for the district, and also what it prevents is you printing something and then forgetting about it. And honestly, that happens a ton. Stacks of paper just getting recycled because teachers printed, they forgot about it, they printed it again, they grabbed it, and we're in the process of setting that up. It's installed on all the printers, but we haven't gone live with it yet because we're meeting with Toshiba first to make sure that we're set up correctly to still support the printing needs here in the district and allow for all teachers to have the right amount of access in terms of placement of copiers and printers. Mr. Redband in his video shared how he does his class with financial management and Microsoft Office, and since we are a Google school or Google district, his class has the opportunity to work in Microsoft Office. So we created what are H drives, which is a local storing area through Microsoft. So the class can do that and they can learn beyond Google. And the District Technology Committee will review the devices when we're nearing end of life to determine the direction we should go, what high schoolers should have, what middle schoolers should have, and what elementary students should have. The District Technology Committee is represented by all schools, so we'll really get a good feel once we get to the end of life of what we should be putting in place. And staff development and training. We have begun this process. I sent out a survey to all staff a week and a half ago, and this Thursday the committee is going to review that survey and really start to hone in on what professional development we want to start to provide. We are going to go with the video hub. I'm working on a curriculum website with Molly, and that's going to store all of our curriculum, and it's also going to store some technology how-to videos and support for staff so that at any given moment they have professional development at their fingertips. They don't have to wait to sign up. When we got the new Samsung boards and laptops in high school and middle school, and I set up trainings for those staff members, and then follow-up trainings as well for anyone with questions. So that was in hopes of a smoother implementation as the staff was getting these new devices. On all of our professional learning days, which we just had on October 10th, there's cybersecurity training infused in that, which you are aware of as well. And so that's critically important. One thing that I learned at a conference this past summer was the largest error is the one between the keyboard and the chair. And it's true, right? We get things, we click on things, we open things up, and so we've really prioritized some cybersecurity training. We have ongoing campaigns where you're getting emails to see if you'll click on it or not. If staff members do click on it, then they get a follow-up training to complete. And so far, it's been extremely beneficial as our phish-prone percentage has gone down already since the beginning of October. So I put a little data point up here. In industry, the phish-prone percentage is 17.9%. So like 17.9% of people are clicking on that email that you shouldn't be. And we are at 5.8% currently, which is great. Ideal world, we want to get down to 0. So it's an ever-moving target there. And lastly, I updated our website to be in compliance with State Ed Privacy Office audits. New York State is conducting audits soon on district websites. It is for feedback first, which is great because we want to make sure that we're doing everything right. They sent out a checklist of what they're going to be doing, and I went through that, and we have everything covered, which is wonderful. I made the website more user-friendly as well for parents, students, and staff, and took data that was out of date or information that was out of date out of there. And I also added our educational technology staff as well, because I think it's important that the staff and the parents and people in the community know who's going around helping staff and students when it comes to their technology needs. So I just want to show you real quick. We put our mission and vision up there. We have our team up here, which is nice. That way, as someone shows up to a classroom, it's like, oh, Mr. Caston, you're here to help me, thank you. And then Emily Benedict did a tremendous job helping me create the website for this, which basically covers all of our data privacy. So We have the Parents' Bill of Rights, all of our information on what software we have, FERPA policy, directory of information. This is super exciting, I know, but incredibly necessary. So this is what the state is looking for. Basically, when they go on our website, they're going to click on that data privacy tab, and they're going to start trying to find where we're missing things, and they're not going to find anything, which is the idea. And like I said, upcoming next is more focus on Goal 3 and Goal 4, clear and accessible curriculum, and effective teaching in every classroom.
Any questions for Mr. Sutton?
So, can we go back to the printers when you were doing that?
Yep.
You said that the students are going to be able to print right from their Chromebooks. Is that, they're sitting at home, they're sitting in school, how's that working?
So the way that PaperCut works is basically PaperCut is a cloud-based software, right? So it's a medium between the actual printer and the device. So everything that we print goes up to their cloud, and it stays there until you delete it off the printer. And we'll set it so that after like 72 hours, it just cleans itself so that way it doesn't get bogged down. But yeah, you can print from home, and then if you never release it, it just never prints. So students will put their ID number in, and we'll limit what students can print and how much of it per day. You know, that way we don't have students printing off a 50-page document, doing the exact thing we're trying to avoid. And then staff as well. When staff are working at home, at night, if they want to print something, they can print it. And then when they go in the morning, they'll use their fob, and they'll just put their badge on it, and then you pick the job you want to release.
Okay, so is it going to be the teacher that's going to approve whether that student's paper or project gets printed on?
Yeah, so
So if I'm one of your students and
Yeah.
I send you a 6-page paper that I got to submit from home, I send it over, it's sitting in the cloud.
Yep.
You come in the next day and say, okay, I got to print John's paper out for him?
No,
Or,
John would print John's paper.
okay.
So we're still working, and that's one of the components that we're still working through, how we want that to look and where we want it to look. Like in the high school, we have a printer in the library, right? So in high school is really that, out of that functional review, high school student printing was the big issue. So that would be our first focus in terms of student printing. But essentially the way that it would work is students have a maximum of, let's say, 5 pages a day that they can print. And I have a paper to print. I would print it from my Chromebook. I'd go up, I'd put my ID number in like I'm going through lunch, and then I would choose that selection and it would print for me.
Okay, so we can limit.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the idea of this is multifaceted, right? One of the top concerns from counselors and school psychs and special education teachers is that they're printing sensitive information. So they need a printer, physical printer right next to them. They don't anymore, right? You can print as many IEPs as you want as a teacher and go release them all at once, and then you have them. Safe, secure, nobody can take that from you. It saves us on needing these printers, physical printers, in so many rooms, dealing with the breakdown of them, calling Toshiba to come fix them. And so teachers can print what they need to print, right? Students, on the other hand, there will be a set limit. We can set times that they can collect it. I mean, it's really easy to change too. So like if we have a setting in place that we're like, oh boy, this isn't working, you know, or we have kids printing things they shouldn't be, we can easily change what they're allowed to do in there.
Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Sutton, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Presentation, sir.
Thank you.
All right, our last presentation is going to come from our Board Vice President, John Regal, on our Board of Education retreat review.
Is he going to talk for me? This might be easier than I thought.
No, I couldn't.
Sure. No, I gotta actually.
Still brilliant. I like the Wizards too for
Hey, Nick.
At least you know I'm
Huh?
We don't need the audio. John's not used to it.
I can't even get it open. Hers is very different than everybody else's.
Well, I can just recap what we did.
It's up to you.
That'll work.
Yeah.
It's up to you. We had a lot of presentations.
I think it'll be fine. It's up to you guys. Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of tough act. So going along with, board appreciation, on behalf of John and I too, we want to thank you guys for everything that you do for our district. There's a lot more that's put into it as board members than just coming in to the board meetings here once a month. There's a lot of time that you put in. One of them is volunteering, coming to the retreats that we have. The purpose of the retreats is so that we, as a board, can develop ourselves to be, oh, she did put it up. So we can better ourselves as a board, learn and develop our roles. Learn our roles and responsibilities as board members. So at our retreat, we had it on September 13th at COAR, which again, we thanked them at the last meeting.
Instigate that. Sorry, hers is a little different than everybody else's.
All right. So, again, thank you to GoArt for allowing us to have it there. Dr. Ramey and Dr. Lawrence, who hosted it for us as well. We started off with going over kind of an icebreaker.
Sorry, John.
That's all right.
Hers is a little wacky, and she talks through it all day.
I would close this. Perfect. Did a little icebreaker and picked a card to describe ourselves the past year. Talked about that a little bit. We brought up what our goals for 2022 were, and one of the areas that we focused on was developing our leadership and accountability. Some of the tasks that we were aiming to shoot for, we wanted to request and review data, have more hard-nosed data in front of us at the meetings, and we directed Jason, which he did a great job having the leadership come each month to us, and when they presented their schools, they presented what they were doing and the statistics of it and where we were developing through that. Increased our understanding of the district operations as a newer board members, a lot of newer board members on our board. It's important for us to keep learning through the process as well. One of the areas that in 2022 that we went from was a developing stage after our super eval to our 2023 super eval results. We went from that developing stage to an effective stage with all of our results that we had on there. So we definitely have improved in the area that we're shooting for. So we set some 2023 goals. With that, we wanted to focus a little bit on developing more our communication and community relations with our advocacy of our district. And some of the ideas that we came up with was to get a little bit more involved, showcase our district off more on social media, which our communications director does an amazing job now with social media. Our principals are tied in on their individual pages. Networking for us to get out, maybe discuss some different things with other districts, other board members, maybe even get together with them and maybe discuss some of the challenges that they face, that we face, and communicate those things. Another idea that we came up with was applying for health and wellness grants to increase that department in our school district. And advocate for realistic and responsible mandates that the legislators do put on school districts as well. Let's see, I think that was about it. And then we did a couple different exercises, gave different scenarios of districts of what they did face and compared it to our board policies, if we do have a board policy for it, if we don't. So we discussed we did a couple different exercises to discuss that. So I think that was about a quick summary of it without the PowerPoint presentation. Good?
Sounds good.
All right.
Nice job, sir. All right, now we're in the reports. First up is Superintendent Jason Smith.
Thank you, John. I just want to recognize again the board at Board Appreciation Week. We have a press release going out this week thanking all of you. I recognized you as well last week in my update to our community. So again, thank you for your service and time. It is appreciated. This must be show and tell week. Yet another item to hang up in our board office here. This is the award that we received that Steve Hawley's office spoke on. So that can go with the proclamation as well as the jigsaw puzzle for John Kennedy. So recognition to the high school and the entire district and that well-deserved recognition. I want to welcome Andy Lang to our team. Andy began 2 weeks ago and is fitting in here quite nicely. And also Thursday, Ryan Winchip begins his new assignment here as our athletic director and director of PD and health. Looking forward to having Ryan join our team on Thursday. Next Friday, October 27th, is the annual Make a Difference Day in our community. Our high school students, our seniors will be going out into the community, such as to the Holland office as well, to take the cemetery go out to do their service next Friday. Wishing luck to our sectional, to our football teams. All of our teams, football team, soccer team, volleyball team, cross country, they all participate in sectionals. We're all having very good seasons. So sectionals begin this week. Soccer has a home game, I believe, on Saturday. Football or soccer, cross-country sectional on the first Saturday in November. Just a few weeks away, but on November 9th will be our annual Veterans Day recognition. We're hosting that. Dan Grillo and Colin Murtaugh and the music department are organizing that. Jada Hagen is still assisting in the background. So if you are available that morning, we'll send an email Thursday, November 9th in the morning, our annual recognition of veterans in the high school. John mentioned advocacy. So in my report board, I shared with you 3 documents. One on the ballot in November is the small city proposition, which will essentially, it's not going to affect us for this capital project, but for future projects. Andy has more details on it. But if this were to pass, 1, there's no cost to the taxpayers. That's important to recognize. And then 2, in the future, it will level the playing field between small cities, school districts like ours, and our counterparts in the rural school districts, which would essentially increase the amount of money that we can borrow. Right now, we're only limited to borrow 5% of our total assessed value. If this bill passes, we would only, set it backwards, right?
No, that's accurate.
If this bill passes, we'd be allowed to borrow 10%. So I think Andy has some of the details.
Yeah, that's a great example. So, for example, if the district has $1 billion of assessed value, currently the statutory debt ceiling would be $50 million. This proposition would allow small city school districts to increase that from 5% to 10%, so effectively doubling the amount of debt that small city school districts could incur. So it's beneficial for multiple reasons, but it's beneficial if districts are anticipating as a result of a capital project to exceed that ceiling. They would no longer need to have a supermajority for when they go out for a capital project. So it's beneficial.
So what this allows to do down the road is essentially borrow more money from the state and then get more work done in a more efficient manner. John will recall in our meetings that we had with our capital project team, we were limited by that. We did not want to go for the 60% supermajority. So we stayed within the debt ceiling for this bill would pass. This would not affect this project, but would have a positive impact on us for us down the road. The Daily News Saturday ran a story on it, so I would encourage our board members, if you would like to speak out on that later on in the evening or during the month, I would encourage you to do so. Speaking of capital project, we are going to be talking about that later on, but I did include in my report our talking points, a front and back sheet that I included for reference that outlines the general scope of the work as well as the cost, and again indicating that there's no additional increase for our taxpayers. The public hearings are on there, so pending approval of this proposal here tonight, we'll go on the road and start sharing information with our public, with our staff, as to what's coming up. And then lastly, the last item, actually the second to last item, I do want to recognize and point out that we did, based on some board feedback and feedback from our staff, we did develop a who do I contact first chart with the number of staff we've had changing at the leadership level We have now clearly identified who to go to for transportation, who to go for food services, who to go for instruction. Later on tonight, we have a revised organizational chart. It does require your approval, but this is just an FYI. And once the organizational chart is approved and passed, we'll get that out to our families. And lastly, I want to recognize our art department. If you look around the room, we have some nice new student artwork here. So I want to thank our high school art teachers for keeping this room looking sharp with student artwork. So, any questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And next up would be our student ex officio report from Peyton Woolman.
I'm sure you guys are all sick of hearing from me for the third time tonight.
No, we're not.
So the main thing I'm going to be hitting on in my report is homecoming week. That's one of the staples of our school. It's probably the largest homecoming in our area. We really had an amazing homecoming this year. So for our dress-up days, normally we have really repetitive dress-up days. We have Tourist Tuesday, we have America Monday, we have all of the ones we do every single year. And this year we really branched out and had 3 brand new dress-up days. This included Adam Sandler on Monday. We dressed like Adam Sandler. And when we brought it up at the meeting, we thought it wouldn't get any support really. It was one of our most dressed up days. We had tons of students dressed like Adam Sandler. We had a country / camo on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we had our Barbie day. All of these had more support and dressing up from the grade levels than I've seen in my years at the high school, so I'm really happy with how that went. And then we also had our staple class theme / color on Thursday, and then blue and white on Friday to go along with our Blue Zoo theme of blue and white for the homecoming game. We also have our murals, which personally is my favorite part because I work on all of the murals for my grade. But this year it was probably the toughest competition we've had in a while. All of the grade levels performed excellently, especially like our freshmen who don't really know what's going on. They still really pulled it out well. The rankings ended up coincidentally going in order of senior, junior, sophomore, freshman, which also makes my class the first class to win our freshman year mural and the first to win all 4 years of mural, which I'm very excited about. We also had 3 main events. We had our bonfire, out of school events. We had our bonfire on Monday, our girls handball on Tuesday, and then our boys volleyball on Thursday, which were intense competitions, especially for the handball and volleyball. People were getting heated, but not aggressive heated, like a fun heated, bringing everyone together. It was a great experience. And then obviously we had our pep assembly on Friday, which was amazing. I got to sing the national anthem over there at the pep assembly. We had a bunch of different competitions. We had Donut on a String. We had our relay races, which were incredibly close. And then we also had our seniors challenge the staff members to tug of war. And somehow the seniors won. I don't know how, but we beat the staff members. And then obviously we had our homecoming game, which was an amazing success. Our Blue Zoo was full of students. It was so much energy. The cheerleaders would be down there and start a cheer, and everyone in the Blue Zoo would be just cheering along with them. The seniors ended up winning homecoming overall, as they typically do. And it was an amazing time. Just the energy of homecoming week, even though there's so much that adds to the plate, it is such an amazing time, and I'm so thankful we get to have a giant homecoming week here. I'd especially like to thank our class advisors, so Mrs. Garner and then Mr. Inglesby, along with Mrs. Corzelius, Mr. Hussein, and Mrs. West, because of the amount of work they've had to put into this. Other than homecoming, we had a special opportunity, as the Richmond mentioned last time, the Richmond Reads program. We ended up meeting with Jeanette Walls last week, and it was so much fun to meet her. We got to hear more about her life story and how she wrote her book, and it was an amazing experience to just go out to GCC and hear her speak about her book. It was mainly our ELA 13 classes taught by Mr. Tress who attended. And then we also, like, obviously there were also community members and college members there. And we ended up getting books signed by Jeanette Walls, which was an amazing time. That's all I have.
All right. Thanks, thank you. Okay, next up is the consenting of the consent grouping. Need a motion to approve the grouping of consent items, including annual appointments and designations as revised, new business official 10/2/2023. I just need to abstain from one, which would be J.
Just one particular individual.
Just one particular individual.
What person will that
You
be?
can say it.
Brianna
What's the last name?
Ulander?
You want to abstain from that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ms. Bowman, could I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rico?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, next up is old business. Is this the one that you want to do?
I can't talk about it.
What's that?
Yeah, I can talk about it. Yeah, for the motions.
All right, I'll put this to the one where we want to do each individual.
Not yet,
Not yet?
Not
That's,
yet.
okay. All right, so old business. Number one, updated Batavia City School District organizational chart. Are there any questions on that?
So this, it just reflects who do I contact first. This has not been updated in a couple of years. It reflects the staffing changes, things that we have talked about, reassigning of some responsibilities. And once this, if we want this approved, we'll put it on the website as well. It has not been updated since in the last couple of years or so. Appreciate that.
All right, anything else? Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Rigo, could I have a second?
Second.
I got Alice Ann with the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, next up, annual appointment of Genesee Area Healthcare Plan Board Member, revised on 10/2/23. Any questions? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ms. Lambert, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Bowman?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Updated Batavia City School District Corrective Action Plan for New York State Controller Audit IT Equipment Inventory. Any questions? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
We'll give Mr. Rigo the first, and we'll give Mr. Roll the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Gotta be louder, Chaz.
Sorry, I lost on that Saturday. That's a comeback. All right, now we're into new business. This is the one.
There will be several here, there'll be a full roll call.
Just, it'll be the first five.
So, yeah.
Right, Bernie?
That's correct.
Okay, so the first one is approve and declare negative seeker declaration and resolution as attached for the proposed capital project, BCSD Reimagine, Shaping Our Schools for the Future.
Just in layman's terms, this is essentially the impact on the environment, which has determined to be a negative impact. So that's part one.
Anybody have any questions? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Reed, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Lambert?
Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lembeck?
Yes.
Mr. Riegel?
Yes.
Mr. Roll? Mr. Marucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Benedict?
Yes.
Number two, approve the resolution of necessity for the proposed capital project, BCSD Reimagine, Shaping Our Schools for the Future.
And again, in layman's terms, that is essentially the document that I pointed out in my report. There will be more extensive information. We have a rather thick document that explains everything in detail, but that is essentially the scope of the project that you have there in front of you from my report.
Any questions? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Rego. Can I have a second? Mr. Roll.
Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lembe?
Yes.
Mr. Rego?
Yes.
Mr. Roll?
Yes.
Mr. Marucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Benedict?
Yes.
Number 3, approve the bond resolution for the proposed capital project BCSD, Reimagine Shaping Our Schools for the Future.
So again, this is just to authorize the district to go ahead and proceed with borrowing. Andy Lang has already been on top of that. Our financial advisor that I work with this as well. So this, pending the approval, will allow the district to go ahead and get the best possible bond for the district.
Any questions? Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Roll. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rego.
Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lembe?
Yes.
Mr. Rego?
Yes.
Mr. Roll? Mr. Marucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Benedict?
Yes.
All right, number 4, approve the resolution calling for a special meeting / vote of the qualified voters of the district to be held on December 14th, 2023.
Yeah, and items actually 4 and 5 kind of are a match, and they just authorize us to have a vote, and then authorize us to have the calendar, get our voters registered, and all those technicalities. So 4 and 5 go as a pair, but you have to vote on them separately.
Okay, any questions? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ms. Bowman, could I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Lembe.
Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lembe?
Yes.
Mr. Rego?
Yes.
Mr. Roll?
Yes.
Mr. Marucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Benedict?
Yes.
Number 5, approval of capital project calendar, voter registration, filing of registers, and proof of identity as listed. Any questions on that? Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Ms. Lembe, could I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rego.
Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lembe?
Yes.
Mr. Rego?
Yes.
Mr. Roll? Mr. Marucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Benedict?
Yes.
Let me just take
Yep.
a minute. Just want to take a minute and thank the board, especially John and John, they've been working through the Buildings and Grounds project for the past couple of years, so nice to see this process happen. I want to recognize the partners, Clark Patterson Lee and Campus Construction for their partnership as well. Looking forward to working with them. The next phase, as I said, will be the public hearings part of this phase, and to inform our voters of what the project entails, and looking forward to working with Brian and making the team on that. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
All right, number 6, approve the 2024-2025 budget guidelines. Any questions?
Thank you.
Could I have a motion, please? Mr. Roll, could I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Bowman.
I apologize, this is my first and second.
Ms. Bowman?
Okay?
Mr. Rego? Chess.
Got it. Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lembe?
Yes.
Mr. Rego?
Yes.
Mr. Roll?
Yes.
Mr. Marucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Benedict?
Yes.
We can do the rest of these in mass if you want.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, so 7.
No, sorry,
No,
not
no.
mass. We'll just take them one at a time.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
okay,
do
all
all
right,
of them.
gotcha. All
Yep.
right. All right, 7, approve the 2024-25 budget calendar. Any questions? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Rego, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Benedict, can I have your hand up?
Benedict? Lembe, which one?
Benedict.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
All right, number 8, resolution authorizing settlement of vaping litigation with Altria. Any questions on that?
Only a comment, if you read through how they came about how much money that this was going to get, no wonder we're in trouble. Because it went from one mathematical thing to another, to another, to another. I don't know, I tried to read it and understand it, and I found it was so confusing. But we're getting money, so.
Yeah. All right, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Bowman, can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rego.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Approval of impartial hearing officer appointment and resolution. Any questions?
I have a question. If an impartial hearing officer is for what reason? I mean, what is an impartial hearing officer?
So generally speaking, if there's, I'm just going to speak very generally, if there's a dispute between our CSE, depending on special education, and the family, in other words, one side or the other does not agree with the child's IEP, there's a process in place to then get that resolved. We are now at that process. So that's the general process.
We're obligated by New York State to appoint an impartial hearing officer from a set list that they give us.
To settle the matter?
To settle the matters.
Okay.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Lemon, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Benedict.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Review and approval of the Educational Technology Incident Response Plan and Disaster Recovery Playbook. Any questions? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Regal will be first, Mr. Roll will be second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, approved job description principal.
I have a question. Why was this job description rewritten?
So the only change on it was, this goes back to the organizational chart as to who the principals are now reporting to, so that is reflective of that change.
And that was the
That's your
only...
only piece? Or is there
No,
more
there's
to
some
it?
other updated language too. As the other job descriptions that were approved, they were from 1998. And so some of the things, I don't think the principal had this, but somebody else had, taking phone calls. So we updated the language to reflect the work that's being done now. In 25 years, that role has certainly evolved. And just so you know, principals had input, it was a collaborative process, and it was reflective of what they do now.
So with the change in the organizational chart that you had, that was the only position that you needed to change a job description for?
Well, yes and no. So the organizational chart reflected the change in the principals. We also had the education technology director in there that was already approved by the board at the time. We also had in there the athletic director that was approved by the board recently. This just happened to fall at the same time. I think we did the business administrator one too.
Yes, that was updated as well.
As we hired new positions, those were all updated. So in this particular case, they all said it was one reflective of the change in the organizational chart, but then two, some of the details that Tristan talked about as well.
Okay.
Nice to have current thing.
Yes.
Current job description.
Anything else? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mrs. Benedict, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Bowman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, next up, discussion and/or other reports. Anybody got anything they'd like to,
I do.
I do. But go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Oh, no, I have, no, mine's going to be a little bit longer than yours.
All right, mine's just real short then. As you guys know, I'm a big football guy, but I feel it's necessary to point out our girls soccer team Saturday is their quarterfinals against Palmac, which
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock at Vendetta. I don't think they've beat Palmac in a while. I think they're the repeat champions for 2 or 3 years here. So for our community, if you can get out and support our girls, and I promised her I'd give her a little shout out to Ella Shamp. She's one of our sophomore players on varsity. She's one of the leading scorers in Monroe County with points. So good luck to her and the girls on Saturday.
that's it?
I have 3 things that I'd like to report on. The first one is the Genesee Valley School Board Association. Generally, the representative for that is the president of the board. And so I did it when I was president and talked to Mr. Burke, Pat Burke, who is the director of that. And he now allows board members, so I come as a representative of this board, and it gives the president you don't have that responsibility any longer, and I don't mind going to those meetings. Anyway, the meeting actually ends up being a report card of the districts that encompass the Genesee Valley School Boards, which is Pavilion and Geneseo and everyone in this Genesee Valley. And it's just to see how we're doing and if we need any kind of informational things. And they have workshops and sessions and things that are set up through Genesee Valley School Boards that I find we as Batavian, Batavia City School District, we don't really utilize their offerings that much, but every now and then something comes up and I sit in on mostly their Zoom meetings these days. The only thing that I wanted to say is that if you're interested in finding out about what's being developed for Genesee Valley School Boards, there's a calendar. They have a website also that you can contact or look into. And I find that the meetings are informational in that I learn about the other school districts. The second committee that I go to is Upstate Institute for School Boards and Staff Development. It is also the same kind of a organization as Genesee Valley School Boards that set up sessions and informational meetings that this board or any board that's a member of that can go to. And they, for instance, they're having in January, they're having a mental health conference at GCC that because we are members, it's free. So but because we're members, many of what they offer is free, and it's very informational, and I go to those meetings and find out about other school districts, but mainly in the Rochester area. And the third thing that I attended was the Professional Learning Community session. Well, and it was called a PLC. I didn't even know what that was until somebody actually said what it was, Professional Learning Community. It's a new program that I think that this district has determined that they wanted to be involved with. It's going to be a 3-year process. Is that what I understood it to be? It's to build and share knowledge, and it was very informational in that it said it really, what I got out of it is, what are we learning? Do we know what our kids are learning? And then how to bring everybody into this within the district, all of the teachers and staff, so that we can be more of that family, as was discussed by Tricia, that just to make this a more successful school district. And key to improve student learning and all of that. So I thought it was a very interesting session, and I would be happy to go to the next ones.
So the next one is in early November. The board has invites for that. Molly and I participate in that as well. Our leadership team has been participating. We had teachers participate last week. We focused on math last week, and it's been quite well received by the entire team. So this week we're going to have an on-site coach here with us, expert in this area, and this all began from the conference we took several months ago. So we've got a lot of positive momentum. There are schools in our region as well that are participating. Wayland Hopton is in it, and Geneseo is participating as well. So it's been well received.
Well, the woman, Janelle Keating, who has written several books about PLC, her school district in White River School District in Washington sounds like a terrific school district. And if she's the leader of this, and if she's the one that's doing these sessions or letting us all know this is how we got to be a great school district, and we're learning from her, that, we can really improve this district.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So those are my 3 brief little reports.
Thank you, Alexander.
Sure.
And then I just have one thing. For the community schools, a donation, thank you from Julia Rogers. Thank you to the Salvation Army who shared some of their donations from local businesses with our teachers. A pop-up shop was coordinated by community schools, and teachers were able to shop after school on Wednesday the 11th for free classroom incentives for their students. Also wanted to thank Dave Russo, Ken Lavis, Chad Bliss, Tim Martin, and Jess Juliet for helping with the delivery of a large donation from Salvation Army. Anybody else got anything else? All right, going to be a call for executive session. We will not be returning from executive session. Could I get a motion, please? Ms. Bowman, can I have a second? Motion to move to executive session to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property or of securities, but only when publicity would substantially affect the value thereof. Yes. Can I have a second? Mr. Roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?